everybody, I'm Elyse Explosion, and I have not been able to, like, process this news just yet, but we recently found out, like, within the past week, that Mattel is reviving Monster High. My favorite doll line of all time is coming back. And I'm so stoked. So stoked. Like, y'all have no idea how much I love Monster High. I mean, you probably do. It's one of the first things I ever did videos on, and I collected a lot of dolls, and I still have a lot of dolls. But I brought my girl Venus here, and I brought my girl Operetta here to kind of talk about what my predictions are for, let's say, Monster High version 3.0. Because as the story goes, we had the original run of Monster High, and then it was rebooted in 2016, and that didn't go very well. It was kind of a chaotic, like, mistake, shall we say. They kind of dumbed down the series, they made things, like, softer and cuter, and it just didn't work. So I have some predictions for what I think we're gonna see for Monster High 3.0. Wave 3, I don't know what we're calling it just yet, but I'm calling it Monster High 3.0. So the first thing that I think we're gonna see is a really strong emphasis on diversity in the line. Like, they're gonna really stick to that be you, be unique, be a monster, the old tag phrase they used to use. But I think that they're gonna place a lot less of an emphasis on, like, the ostracization from the normies that we used to see in the original series. I mean, like, there was that whole movie, I think it was Fright On, where they were, like, kidnapped on Halloween and put in the trick-or-treatment chamber. It was pretty grotesque. But I think they're going to focus a bit more on what makes each individual character special and what they can bring to the table, because I think that in the light of the events of the past year, that it rings even more true than it did back then. And I think that Mattel probably realized that that was a really big thing they had going for themselves. So I think that is gonna be closer to what we're gonna see in the, they said there was gonna be a TV movie and possibly a series. I don't know if they're gonna do webisodes again. I kind of hope they do, because I really enjoyed the initial run of webisodes. The 2D, I don't want to say more traditional animation style, I thought was very cute. Wasn't as keen on the pivot to 3D animation that they did for the later movies. But I think that's my first one. The second one is I think that they are going to return to the original characters. I think we're going to see a return of Ghoulia, because I think one of the big things about Monster High's reboot was that the new characters weren't as good. They really, I feel like they changed the personalities of the existing characters too much. They kind of tried to pivot the focus to be a lot more on Draculaura than Frankie, which I don't think worked as well, personally. But I think that we're going to be seeing more of the original characters. We're going to be seeing more of Abby, more of Spectra, and just bringing them back into rotation. Like, if we don't see Ghoulia again, I will probably be really upset, because Ghoulia's character was so special. Like, she was the genius. She was the smart character, and yet the whole time, us on the outside, nobody knew what she was saying because we couldn't speak zombie. But everybody else could, and everybody else could understand her. And I think that is something that is a good point to make. Like, just because you don't speak the language doesn't mean you're not absolutely brilliant or have any, have things to offer to society. Next up, I think that there is going to be kind of like a mixed focus on the large cast. Like, one of the things from the original series is that we got new characters like every quarter, easily. Every time a new movie came out, we got at least 4 new dolls. And while that was great for me as a collector, it was a little difficult for, I guess to say, like, casual fans of the show to make that connection. Like, you've got a million different characters, and some of them you see in, like, one episode and never see again. one movie and never see again. I think like Cyrena is the only exception to that rule because she showed up for Freaky Fusion and then for Haunted because she was also a ghost. So I feel like they're going to probably cut back on the amount of characters that we see, at least initially, kind of focus, like, let's say My Little Pony style on the core 6 characters. So we're going to see Frankie, we're going to see Draculaura, we're going to see Claudine, we're going to see Ghoulia, we're going to see Cleo, and we're going to see Laguna. So we're definitely going to see those 6. I assume by process of elimination we'll probably see Deuce as well, but I think just to start, we're just going to work with those. Just to see how they get placed in the new series. And I don't know if this was based on something that I read, or if it's something that I'm just kind of like hoping for, but I got the impression that it was going to be more so like Saved by the Bell, the new class, where we have the original characters welcoming in a new group of students, which I think could work. So maybe if it's, like the year behind, let's say Twyla and Howleen, just new to the school, new to Monster High and how everything works. And because I think that could work really well, because that way it's not like, rebooting something that they've already rebooted once before, but a way to bring the original characters into a new series. Or what's the other one? Girl Meets World, something like that, to have existing characters be there, but have the focus be on the new characters. So we'll see. Next, I think, and I'm pretty sure that this has been confirmed that it's going to play out like this, but I think we are going to see a combined emphasis on both playline toys as well as collector's lines. Now, I think that one of the articles I was reading said that the Skelector dolls, the 2 Stephen King dolls that they released late last year, between Pennywise and the Grady twins, did so well. It was just kind of like a litmus test to see, is it worth bringing Monster High back? And I think the answer was a resounding yes. Those 2 were so hard to get a hold of, especially direct order. I can't even imagine how many have been picked up by like scalpers and bots and are being sold for like 4 times the price. But I do remember seeing that they are going to be continuing on the collector line. And I hope that takes points from the original collector's dolls, like that weird freaky old glass-eyed Draculaura that came out. There was a Skeleta that was released that I'm kicking myself I didn't get a hold of. I believe there's that one, the 2-pack that exists of Cleo and Ghoulia when they first find Cleo, so to speak. And along those lines, I think the collector's dolls are going to be a bit more prevalent. I hope that they've learned a lesson from that Skelector's release and are going to take that into consideration when releasing them. I hope they're going to do them to be a bit more accessible, maybe like Amazon releases or specific like online releases. I know that, obviously they used to do retailer exclusive releases, but those were all fairly easy to get a hold of after a while. But now this is my hot take. This is one that I'm just kind of throwing out there because I wanted to come up with 5, because 5 is a nice even number for lists like this. But I think that for my final prediction, I think they're going to have to bring a human character into play. And not like, Headmistress Bloodgood, where she's still like the Headless Horseman, or Jackson, who is obviously, half Holt Hyde. But they're going to bring in, I think they did that in the Elyse Harrison book series with Melody Carver. Maybe they're going to take that. Maybe they're going to take her because they've already got the trademark down. I hope they don't go the same route as the Elyse Harrison novels, because the Elyse Harrison novels were not good, in contrast to the Shannon Hale Ever After High novels, which were spectacular, and I recommend to anybody who has not read them yet, check them out if you can find them. They're great. But I think that they're going to find a way to introduce a human character so that they can see what the monster world is like on the inside, and, teach them to not be afraid of the diverse world and the different characters and different lives, because ultimately they're, you know, magical racism just like us. But I think that stands a strong chance of happening. I don't want to, like, try to predict any other characters because, you know, there are so many more monsters and creatures of myth that can be introduced to the Monster High canon, and we'll see what they go for. I don't want any more vampires. Oh my god, I am so tired of vampires. We have so many freaking vampires. You know, there was a whole movie where there was the vampire school and the werewolf school, and enough of that. No more vampires, no more werewolves. Just work with what we've got and maybe bring in some new blood. So I think that is going to be it for this video. What predictions do you have for Monster High 3.0 when it arrives next year? Do you have any hopes, anything that you're really, really looking forward to? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for liking, commenting, and subscribing. If you're interested in helping the channel out a little bit, I do have a Patreon. That is patreon.com/Elyse Explosion. Get behind the scenes info, vote in polls, offer discussion. It's a pretty good time, and we have fun over there. So check it out. Click the little bell, because if you want to stay in the know, the bell's the way to go. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Later!